What's next on our list? James Gunn. Yeah. So let's. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. This is it's actually pretty exciting. So, we James Gunn has been having a lot of fun in quarantine. And one of the things that he's done is he sparked up a conversation about and I don't know why 27, but he picked 27 sequels that were better than the originals. So I'm gonna throw that up now. Actually, you know what? Let me go full screen with it. Whoops. Nope. There we go. All right. So as you can see, there are a lot of films on here, and let's go through them one by one. So he thinks Toy Story 2 is better than 1. He thinks Godfather 2 is better than 1. Uncontroversial choices, I think. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not controversial. Spider-Man 2, I would agree with that as well. Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. I never watched that, so can't claim that it is or isn't. Evil Dead 2, I barely remember watching that, so I don't know if I can co-sign with him on that. Shrek 2, I don't even really remember. It's been so long since I've watched Shrek 2. Maybe, possibly. The Dark Knight, clearly. The Dark Knight is better than the Batman Begins. Bride of Frankenstein. I do not remember that movie, so can't comment. Hellboy 2. You can probably comment on that, Arain, because I didn't watch that.
No, I don't think Hellboy. I think the first one was better.
Very interesting. Okay. You have Road Warrior. I think he is correct on this one. I think Road Warrior is better than the original Mad Max. And then you have for a few more dollars, which I don't know exactly what that is. So I can't, respond on that either. Paddington 2. Never watched 1, never watched 2, so don't really care. X2, I thought actually was better than probably the original X-Men. It was a little more violent, a little less PG-13. Empire Strikes Back. I think, yeah, that's you should be a unanimous consensus that
I can take this the second list here.
Sure.
So Wrath of Khan. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
That's Star Trek. Yeah, that's the second Star Trek movie. Which I watched bits and pieces. I've never watched it all together, but I would say that it's pretty good.
Okay. Superman 2. Do you have any?
Yeah. No, he's 100%. And each time I get fooled into watching Superman, like the first Superman and not Superman 2, I'm like, fuck, why isn't it Superman 2?
Now Superman, are we talking about, we're clearly not talking about the most recent Superman film.
No, this is that Christopher Reeves version of the.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of those. So, yeah, I'm out there. So Batman Returns.
This one, I was like, I don't know. Because the original Batman had Jack Nicholson playing Joker. I don't know. I don't know if I can co-sign on that. I'm teetering on no, but also I think Batman Returns just stays with you because it's so fucking outlandish with, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, with Danny DeVito as Penguin.
Yeah.
It just something about it that lingers with you. And it also had Christopher Walken in it.
So the original Batman, who did that have again? Who was the primary villain?
Joker, which was played by Jack Nicholson.
Are you sure that was so? The Joker with the Jack Nicholson. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I got to go with this one. I got to go with Batman Returns. While Jack Nicholson was good as the Joker, I think Danny DeVito was phenomenal as the Penguin. Michelle Pfeiffer, I think she was great as Catwoman in this film as well. So yeah, I got to go with Batman Returns on this one.
Yeah, I can't chastise anybody for going with that. For me personally, I don't know. I kind of slant a little more towards, I think the younger me would have definitely said Batman Returns, like the kid/teenager in me would have said Batman Returns. But I think as an adult, I would probably today rather watch Batman, the original Batman movie.
Okay. So next on the list, we have Gremlins 2, which came out in 1990. So this is Gremlins 2, the new batch, or the follow-up to the 1984 Gremlins.
Yeah,
so I got to agree with this one, too. I think
they all run together for me. I
You said
can't.
it. Again, I mentioned this earlier in the recording. I'm a huge fan of like early day Wesley Snipes. So next on the list is Blade 2. Absolutely, Blade 2.
Yeah, I
was
got to
better
agree with this
than-
wholly. Especially if you go back and watch the original Blade now, you're like, I mean, it was all right. Like, like it was okay.
Soft spot for Blade. He's one of my favorite characters in like the MCU. Blade 1, like, you know, whenever Blade is on TV, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, I'm gonna watch it no matter what. Like I have to watch it.
No, 100%. I'm with you.
Better on.
Well, like, so I'm with you on that. Except for like, I'm just saying, like, in comparison, like when I think back to Blade 2, it seemed like it was just so much more like, oh, okay, this is the shit that I need. Like when I go back and watch 1, I'm like, it's all right. I mean, it's cool. Whatever.
And that's because I think Blade was the shot in the dark, right? It was like, you know, let's see if this thing could work. You know, like let's see if there's an appetite for this, because he is a Marvel character, right? You know, this was in I believe the first Blade came out in 1998.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely take Blade 1 over like Spider-Man 1, the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Like if that's what we're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then Blade 2 really, like, that's when they say, oh, okay, this thing worked, right? There's the appetite for this. Blade 2 really just stepped it up a notch. That shit was fire.
Yeah.
Legend of the Drunken Master. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, I guess, is it a Jackie Chan movie? Didn't he do all the Drunken Master movies?
You racist son of a bitch.
All right. Continue. I'm not even going to try to.
Well, let's find out, because I have no idea what this is. Legend of the Drunken Master.
I can
Damn it, you're right. This is a Jackie Chan movie.
I knew I wasn't racist. There you go.
So this Jackie Chan film came out in 1994. A young martial artist is caught between respecting his pacifist father. You know, he uses the drunken martial arts fighting style. I haven't seen this movie. I fucking love Jackie Chan, but I haven't seen this, so I can't really give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
I think I've seen the original Drunken Master, but I don't think I've seen the Legend of the Drunken Master. Or maybe it was the other way. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, so next on the list we have Desperado. So this is this Antonio Banderas?
Yeah.
Desperado.
Yeah. Yes, I would have to say this was better than what is it a sequel to? It's a sequel. Desperado is a sequel to. We'll continue and I'll.
Yeah, so this film was what was the original movie with Salma Hayek?
I think this one actually, or is it the other way around? I can't remember. Fuck, it's been so long.
So it was not the fucking Mask of Zorro.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Mask of Zorro. That's now that's racist.
That's super fucked up.
Well, I'm gonna find it. You continue to just talk shit.
So there was Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, you had it.
Okay, so Once Upon a Time in Mexico came out in 2003, but Desperado came out in 95. So it's definitely that's not it.
Yeah, I'm confused. Hold on. Desperado.
Yeah, we're gonna figure this out in real time here.
We got to. Yeah, because now we're just looking stupid.
So I'm gonna go back a little bit. So 95 again is when Desperados came out.
Oh, it's a sequel to El Mariachi. Which I never watched, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I never watched that either. Desperado was fire. So I'm gonna have to lean.
You're just gonna have to believe him. Go on faith.
James Gunn on this one.
Yeah, but I didn't know that though. I didn't know that it was a sequel itself. I always thought that Desperado, like I knew it was Desperado and something else. But yeah, I just didn't know that. Yeah,
so. He takes this one, so Desperado, I'm leaning with that as well.
Yep.
Next on the list, Blade Runner 2049.
I 1,000% agree.
Yeah, this is not even really much of a conversation. If you've seen the original Blade Runner, which I don't remember when it came out, I think it was like late 90s.
No. That's no.
Late 80s?
I'm not even sure if it was late 80s. I think it might have been the 70s.
It was really? Fuck no. I thought it was like 88, 87 or something like that.
That's the thing about it is that it looks so ahead of its time. Ridley Scott was this movie was just light years, I think, ahead of its time. It was great, fantastic for its time, but I don't know if you compare the two. I would just have to say Blade Runner 2049 blows it out of the fucking water. Like, it smokes it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could watch this movie on mute. It's
fucking,
the cinematography alone is
Roger Deakins outdid himself with the cinematography.
Yeah. Next on the list, we have Magnum Force. I thought this was like a little clip or film on Pornhub, but it is not. I don't know what this movie is. What are your thoughts, though?
Well, it's a sequel to, unless I'm mistaken, it's a sequel to Dirty Harry, with Clint Eastwood,
which also sounds like it could be on Pornhub.
That's actually mad true. I'm pretty sure it is on Pornhub. I don't know. I can't really form an opinion. It's been so long since I've seen either film, so I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to lean with James Gunn on this one. Next on the list, Final Destination 2. In my opinion, absolutely. The first one, very interesting movie, really interesting concept. I think it was just like somewhat of a shot in the dark, like, let's see if this thing works. It did. Final Destination 2 really took things to the next level. I think it was a much better film.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, again, it's another one of those films that I genuinely don't remember. I watched it, I'm pretty sure, but I have no concept of.
I definitely remember, 1 and 2 pretty well. 2, again, it just kind of took it to the next level, like the deaths, the plot, just the series of events that took place, the acting. 2, in my opinion, was better. I think that's where, after Final Destination 2, that's where there was a hard stop, or at least there should have been. They went on to produce, I think, Final Destination 3 and 4. God, to this day, I think last night I woke up in a nightmare. I was wondering why the fuck they made Final Destination 3. We'll never know, but they did. So next on the list, we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Dude, I watch this movie every chance I get.
Yeah, like I don't even like. I can't even form words. That's how much I think of this film. Not only is it better than the original, it might be the best MCU movie out there. Like you might have Civil War, you might have Infinity War, you might even have Endgame. But Winter Soldier is where everything just changed for me. Where I was like, okay, they're doing something different over here in Marvel.
Yeah, I think this is the best like action movie in the MCU. Like the fight scenes in here between Cap and Winter Soldier. That elevator scene with Captain America and like all of the Hydra soldiers.
Classic.
Where they're trying to like basically capture Cap, and he's just like, if anybody wants to get out now, well. And that fight scene alone is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, when Bucky keeps dropping the knife and picking it back up like in midair. Yeah.
Only Arya and Bucky, can knife drop. Gosh, I want to see them go at it. Arya versus Bucky.
I don't know. I might have to put my money on Arya. She's deadly.
Knife drop. What do you say to death? Right?
Mini face god.
So next on the list we have Swordsman 2.
Never heard of it.
Never.
Yeah. I don't know. And people are probably like, you son of a bitch. You've never heard of it. No, I've never heard of it. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wish we had more for you on this one. So we'll quickly move on to the next. At the bottom of the list, rounding it off, is Alien and Aliens.
No,
Aliens.
So I think he said specifically that Alien it's inarguable that Alien is better than Aliens, which I thought was, unless I misread his quote, which is always a possibility, but I think that's beyond preposterous. Aliens blows Alien out of the water. It's not even fucking close. Like it's not even an argument. I don't understand why he's saying the opposite. It's stupid.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, just because there's an S on the end of one and there's no S on the other, there are two completely different films. Alien, which came out in 1979, starring Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, and John Hurt. A few or 7 years later, in 1986, Aliens, that's the one with the S at the end, came out. And this one starred, again, featuring Sigourney Weaver, Michael Bain, and Carrie Henn. I got to agree with you. I got to agree with James Gunn on this one. Aliens was far superior to the original Alien film. I mean, everything about it, cinematography, the plot, like the makeup of the aliens, like the storyline, it's everything about it. Well, I don't even know that this is much of a conversation.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of like Captain America, the first Avenger, and, you know, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. That's how far of a gap is between these two films.
Yeah. The only thing I could say is maybe I would say that the original Alien is maybe a little scarier, maybe than number 2. But look, when she gets in the last scene of Aliens and she's rolling around with that fucking exoskeleton and she's fucking up the alien, oh my God, I've never cheered so hard in my life. I was like, yeah, get her.
For her, you know, that was that. I mean, going fucking hard.
Yeah. Okay, so this inspired us to actually make our own list, and I regret that I didn't get yours ahead of time. Otherwise, I would have prepared some graphics. But do you want to say yours, and then I can say mine?
Yeah, dude, very, very difficult to put together this list of, you know, films that are not already featured on his list, just because he includes so many of the ones that I wanted to include. And I don't know if, well, here's a question. Are we sticking with like just sequels to where it has to be the second movie? Or like, let's say a movie has like 12 films and then there were breaks and gaps in between. Like, can we go with that too?
I would say no, only because it seemed like he stuck with the natural sequel to, you know. All
right. Fair enough. So I think what wasn't on this list that could have been included is Scream 2.
We have to. So I'm sorry, we have to end the podcast. We've got to end this partnership that we have. Are you kidding me right now?
I think Scream 2 is better than the original. The first movie was really good. You know, it was like less. It was just like crazy and wild, right? The first one really just took the storyline to the next level for me.
Are you what?
That's where that's where you start to understand, like, okay, there is like a coherent method to this like madness, right? I think the acting was a little bit better.
If it did anything,
the storyline was better. The cast was better.
If it did anything, it confused the fuck out of the story, because then it introduced somebody else who apparently, I think he was banging Sydney's mom, unless I'm mistaken about that, or something like that. Something like that had happened, like, but she met the dude in college or some shit. I don't know. Some weird ass. It was just a weird story to try to like, oh, okay, I guess we're just going to add that on as if, you know, that existed the entire time. I mean, this isn't just a cash grab. The first one was a tight story. It was new. It was fresh. By the time the second one came out, it was kind of just old news and just a rehash, and not even a good rehash of the original story.
I don't know, big guy. I think I think Scream 2 is better than the original. I'm going to stick with that one.
Yeah.
So next on my list, I'm going to go with Underworld 2.
Okay. I do not even remember either the original or the second one. They all kind of run together.
Who was in Underworld? It was
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale. I forget the other guy's name, but he's a really good actor too. Played Lucian. It was vampires versus the Lycans. The first film was really good. The second film took it to the next level in terms of like the action. I think the story got a little bit deeper, started to tell a little bit more of the story behind the war between werewolves and vampires. Like, we've kind of just always accepted that like werewolves are on one side and vampires are on the other side. I think this was one of the first films in my memory that like really went deep into like how the war between the two started. I think the acting was better, the digital effects were better, the writing was better. So I got to go with Underworld 2 on this. Yeah. Last on my list is I broke the rules here. Well, all right, I'm not going to break the rules. I was going to say John Wick 3, but again, that's the third installment, so I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go with, and this is tough for me, but I'm going to go with Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Well, that isn't the actual sequel, but I still fuck with you though on that. I've always been a huge like fan of Die Hard with a Vengeance. I thought it's the best one. I think to me it's the best Die Hard outside of the original, but it doesn't work in this case for. Say that one more time.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. That is the third one, right?
That's the third one, not the second.
So I broke the rules anyway.
Yeah, I think the second one was poorly titled. I think Die Harder or something like that. I don't know, something stupid. But yeah, and I never liked the second one. I've always thought the second one was stupid.
So the first one was where they're in LA, and they're in the tower, right?
What is it called? What's the tower called? Mishitobi?
That sounds about right.
No,
because it was like his wife worked for that Japanese company.
Yeah, it was fuck, I can't remember the name of the tower, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, I can't remember it either. So the second one took place in New York, right, where they're robbing the gold from the bank.
No, that's the third one. The second one is when they're like they're at an airport or something like that.
Yeah, so that's the one. That's Die Hard with a Vengeance. Right?
No, Die Hard with a Vengeance is the one where they're taking the gold from the with Samuel Jackson, and they're taking the gold from like the reserves, and you have like I think it's Hans Gruber's brother or something like that. That was sort of like the villain. That's the third one, and that's called Die Hard with a Vengeance. The first one is just Die Hard. You have number 2, which is Die Hard, but Die Harder, I guess. And then the third one, which was Die Hard with a Vengeance. I've always thought that was superior to at least number 2. I don't know if it's better than the first one. I think that might be against my religion to actually say that. I might have to consult.
I have my titles mixed up here and my movies. I pretty much have everything mixed up. The one that I think is the best, is the one in New York where they're robbing the bank.
Yeah, Die Hard. You had it right. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah. So yes, it was technically the third movie.
Yeah.
But I think that was the best, just because Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. I mean, their chemistry throughout that film was just fucking spot on.
100%. I've always loved it.
Though I do love the one in the airport.
I don't. I've always thought that was stupid and just not even poorly made, but just like it's just like, why am I watching this when I could just watch the first one? Or when 3 came out, it's like, well, why am I watching number 2 when I could just watch number 3? Like I could just skip this. It's not necessary.
And the second one was just Die Hard 2 though. So luckily they didn't do the Die Harder.
They didn't. I thought or maybe that was only in like some territories that it was called Die Harder.
So the movie itself was called Die Hard 2. Mm-hmm. The tagline for the film was Die Harder.
Okay.
That's the mix-up.
So yeah, so they are slightly not as stupid as I thought.
Just a little bit dumber, but not quite as stupid.
Yeah.
Neither one is good.
All right. So we are. Were you done yours?
Yeah. Yep. That's my list.
All right. Cool. I'm gonna blow through mine super quick. So. Whoops. So let's get rid of this. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to take there we go. All right. So my first one is Before Sunset. It's the sequel to the Before Sunrise. I just think it's I don't even know what I can say about it. It's, for one, my favorite trilogy of all time. And I think that Before Sunset is just a superior film to the first one, and that's not even saying like the first one was bad. The first one's great, but this one just kind of took it to a whole new level, even though it's kind of just more of the same. But they just were way better at what they did. The next one I'll say is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge. This movie scared the living shit out of me as a kid, and it just has a special place in my heart that I always thought that number 2 was scarier for me than the first movie that came out. This might be a controversial one. I'm going to go out and jump on a limb and say that Back to the Future 2 is superior than the original Back to the Future. Very controversial, but my reasoning is that Back to the Future 2 actually encapsulated some of Back to the Future 1, like literally, but it adds so much more on it as far as like going into the actual future and seeing how they set everything up, yada yada, and how everybody got I think the date passed back in like 2015, that the actual date that he traveled to in the future. which was pretty cool. Everybody was wearing their Marty McFlys, the Nikes. I don't know. I just always loved that film way more than the original.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think Back
Yeah.
to the Future too. To your point, I do like how they really like they actually incorporated elements of Back to the Future One, how those storylines kind of overlapped. So I can agree with that. I would say it's a superior movie.
Yeah. The next one I'll say is 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was the sequel to the original Cloverfield. And this isn't even to say that the original Cloverfield was even bad. It was actually really good because of it was like this found footage that you weren't really sure. Like nobody really knew what the fuck the movie was about until you actually sat in the theater and you watched the movie and you're like, holy shit, this is crazy. And it was like you're taking on that adventure. It was like a true movie experience. But 10 Cloverfield Lane was just so good. John Goodman was so fucking good in that movie. As well as, and I'm forgetting his, the people who co-starred with him, but they were fantastic as well. But I think that was superior to the original Cloverfield. Here's one that is controversial only because it wasn't on the fucking list on, James Gunn's list. And it's like a crime because this has to be literally the best, not only the best sequel of all time, this might be the best movie of all time. And I'm talking about nothing other than Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Like, what are we
Terminator
doing?
2 wasn't on this list.
Yeah, what the fuck are we doing? Although I think he did mention it below the the thing, like his original comment that like, oh yeah, of course T2 is like, it, but the fact that wasn't even on his original list was just that's preposterous. Come on, the fuck are we doing? How the fuck are we going to create a list about the best sequels of all time or the sequels that were better than the originals and would not include T2? Maybe it was just like one of those things that was just so obvious that you don't talk about it. Real quick, let's.